most HR professionals, you have a lot on your plate, and there's not enough time in the day to get everything done. And so it's really imperative then to make sure that the things you're doing related to performance management, compensation, or the focus of this course, recruitment and selection, are actually value added. They are doing something to further the goals of the organization. It's critical then to make sure that your programs and practices are in alignment with the overall organizational strategy. And that's the focus of this video, thinking about how to link recruitment and selection to your overall strategic goal. So let's get started. It is critical that we look at the overall organizational strategy. What is the ultimate mission of your organization? The mission statement generally gives the reason your company exists and what it does. Your vision is where you aim to be in the future. Where do you hope to go? And your values are what you stand for, whether that be social responsibility, sustainability, or how you treat your employees. Also critical is understanding the value proposition of your organization. The value proposition is really from the customer's perspective. Why do they want your product? To understand your value prop, you must be able to describe your target customer, what problem your organization is solving for the customer, and why you'd be a better choice than competitors. What is it that is unique that you offer? So by knowing your strategy, which involves the mission, values, vision, and value proposition, which leads into then, of course, your short and long-term objectives for your organization, knowing these things will help make sure that your practices, your HR practices, are in alignment with these organizational goals. In this lesson, I'm going to be giving you different types of general competitive strategies, and then we can look at who we might hire, what behaviors are needed to achieve these strategies, and perhaps one of these strategies will apply to your organization. So a helpful tool that we'll be using to analyze these strategies is the value discipline model, which was first published in a Harvard Business Review article called Customer Intimacy and Other Value Disciplines. Later, the authors listed on your slide expanded their theories into the Discipline of Market Leaders book. And so the three basic paths that most organizations fall into are operational excellence, which you see there on your slide, product leadership, and then customer intimacy. So here we have more definition as to what these strategies entail. First of all, let's take a look at operational excellence. And this is really thinking of an organization that's a low-cost provider. They're constantly looking at their processes and trying to eliminate waste of redundancies, any sort of part of the process that is not value added to the customer. And so because of this, they're able to provide a quality product that is also cost effective for the consumer. Companies that I think that might fall into this sort of strategy, I'll list them here. So we'll say FedEx, UPS, kind of from a shipping standpoint, and then maybe General Electric, I would say maybe them as well. Kind of thinking about how do we manufacture products that are high quality, there's not a lot of waste in the process, and they're a good value to the customer. Next, let's move on to product leadership. Product leadership is an organization that is thinking about innovation in their products and services that create a competitive advantage. So really cutting edge products and services, new ideas, getting them fast to market. And I would say that Apple would be a tremendous example of a company that is all about innovation and product leadership. Also, maybe Nike, thinking of their apparel, latest and greatest in terms of athletic wear. And our last strategy here is customer intimacy. Customer intimacy is really an organization that offers unique solutions for their services, their products, customizing those to the customer, and then really providing an exceptional customer experience. So I'm going to say Nordstrom's is well noted for their customer service, as is, for instance, the Four Seasons Hotel. Really paying a premium for that quality, but nonetheless exceptional quality provided by their employees. So at this point, we need to note that we've looked at our three different kinds of strategies. What are those components within the strategy? But Critical at this point is to think about what then do we need to do to deliver workforce behaviors to execute these strategies? What do we need to do to achieve these three? We can define quite a few different workforce behaviors, but just for sake of time, let's take a look at just one maybe for each. So under operational excellence, I would say we'd want workers to be efficient, right? They need to be able to follow standardized procedures. How about under product leadership? I'm going to say innovation. Also, I'm going to just list creativity. I think those two kind of go in the same bucket to some extent. And then lastly, customer intimacy. How about problem solvers? We need employees who are really going to be able to help customers resolve whatever issues they have. Again, it's really not enough to stop here, is it? Because we've got our strategy. We know perhaps what a behavior is that would help us execute that strategy, but how do we get that behavior? In all of our programs and practices in HR, compensation, rewarding employees, motivating employees, all these different kinds of things, how are we going to actually achieve that? So because this class is selection and recruitment, we need to perhaps think about how do we recruit people for these kinds of strategies. And so let's use the innovation strategy and think about how do we recruit creative people. What is it that companies like Apple and Google do to be successful in finding the right people to fulfill their innovation strategy? First, we have to know, what does creative mean for our organization? A competency is the combination of knowledge, skills, abilities that are needed. So what does it actually look like, creativity? Can we measure it? Should we measure it? Is it divergence from the way things are normally done? Novelty? New ways of looking at things? So first we must understand and try to define what creative behaviors are. It makes it really difficult, if not impossible, to hire the right people without understanding this. The next area is job design. We need to make sure we design jobs within the organization that are motivating and empowering, not stifling or micromanaging. Do they provide, these kinds of jobs, do they provide opportunities for creative people to work in teams, work across boundaries? We need to be creative within our own search tactics. For instance, where are we looking for people? But even more so, we must be creative in the way that we recruit. Recruiting is marketing, and it should look fresh, exciting, colorful, diverse, and inspiring. Our selection process needs to be scientifically validated, so we're actually hiring for the things that we need. So no more asking how many golf balls fit into a 747. While we hope this gets to an individual's creativity, it just doesn't hold water. It's not valid. It's not related to job performance. Instead, ask the candidate to produce a sample of what he or she would actually be working on. The best people to recruit are often not in the HR department. I know that sounds funny, especially coming from an HR professional, but your employees should be the ones networking and finding great candidates like them in their own profession. If your current employees are happy and productive, they will be your best advertisers. And of course, the culture of your organization creates a positive environment in which a creative person would want to work. What do you celebrate? Do you provide a rewarding, enriching environment? Visually, what does it look like in your organization? Does it look and feel creative every day? So while we use just one example, hiring for creativity, based on your company strategy, you're going to need to determine what workforce behaviors you're seeking that will execute that strategy. As we move forward through this course, we will explore ways to attract, recruit, onboard employees with these behaviors.